Hey guys, we are back, and look at that boat. That is a nice boat. Still just love looking at it. I'm very pleased with how this came out. I actually have not been on the server in a couple weeks. I've been working on it's called a murder mystery, so it's kind of like the board game Clue, if you guys have ever played that. But it's like you're playing Clue, but you're acting out the character that you're playing as. So I've been working on building my own for the past couple weeks, and we actually played it on Saturday, and I thought it went pretty well. But I'm back on the server for the first time in a couple weeks, and I'm going to try to keep this fairly short because I know I typically do pretty long episodes. So we are just going to simply work on the very bottom level of this boat. And so what we're going to do here, I want to show off a little trick, and I actually did not come up with this. This is something that I've seen Etho do in some of his videos on Hermitcraft Season 10. I'm not sure which video it is, so I'm not going to link a specific video, but I'm probably just going to link his account. So I want to show you guys something. And this is my own twist to it as well. It's not completely what he's done. He used Ravagers, and so Ravagers have a big hitbox. But what we're doing is we're building a queue system. What that means is we will have minecarts coming into this boat from here. So we'll probably dig a hole out of the boat and have a water elevator that will bring minecarts into the boat. It won't look super great from the outside, but it's at the bottom of the boat, so I don't think it'll matter too much. But imagine a minecart comes in, and then it default comes down here. So imagine you have a queue, and so this is your line here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minecarts in this line. First person comes in the line, well, there's no one in front of me, so I want to go to the next one. And then there's no one in front of me still. I want to go to the next one. And then it's the next one. So we want it to be where the first minecart that comes in makes its way all the way to the end. But if there's a minecart already here, we want it to prevent any future minecarts from going down because there's already a minecart here. And this is actually going to be, this one's going to be a little bit different here. So it's just going to be that. So I'm going to quit being vague. What I'm building here is a holder for Trident drowns. So if there is a drown that has a Trident, it'll come into this system and wait for me to come in and kill them. And this is the final holding system. We're going to build a sorting system here in a bit, but I want to show you guys how this holding system works. So we have these tripwires here. So whenever a zombie is in a minecart, it'll hit this tripwire, and you can see that it's powering this rail here. But what we want it to do is we want there to be... What am I doing wrong here? Oh, I gotta scrap this whole thing. Hold up. Okay, so we actually want the tripwires right here. So to block up. We don't want the tripwires themselves to power these powered rails. So if I have a tripwire here, we want this tripwire to tell this line that there's a zombie here. So if a minecart comes into here, if there's a zombie here, this will be telling this minecart, hey, you can't come down the line. But if there's no zombie here, this tripwire isn't activated, so the zombie will come down the line. It'll all make sense at the end, but let me do the first one, and then this might make more sense once I actually do it. Okay, so this rail is going to be always activated. Same for here. We're going to have this rail always activated. But if I'm standing right here, this gets turned off. So what that looks like, say I just have a minecart that goes... Oh, I did these wrong. I did these all wrong. Okay. Okay. So now by default they'll go in. So if I have a minecart here, this minecart goes in. It's powered. It's going to go slow. Oh, no. Okay. What just happened here? Oh, and then now it's... So if I put a minecart here, then destroy it. Is its default to go this way? Hold up, let me go back to the thinking board here. I'm not sure what's going on. It's like its default is to be this direction. And I can't... Oh, are these orientational? Does the orientation matter? It doesn't look like it does. Looks like no matter where I put it, it wants to go the other way. Okay guys, I'm back and I'm actually in my creative world. So this is where I do a little bit of play testing with redstone. This is where I was working on the queue system, and I tried to make it to where it was just one gap in between the railroads, but then I realized that I needed two. But I want to show you guys something really weird. So this is my mock boat, and I built my queue. Let me set this to daytime real quick. Okay, so here the villager goes in. Okay, and then he goes in here. Then it comes around. Then it comes around. And then it fills in right here. Okay? So that works out good. And don't mind that the trident is attacking him. So then we can... Oh, how does that even work? How does... Okay, so then it fills in, and so these slowly fill up. But if we go up here, and say I put this here, put a guy here, and I push him. Maybe if I just spam one of these, not even one of these are gonna get in the minecart. I don't understand. Oh, I got a baby. What? Okay, I don't understand that. How? Yeah, okay, we're gonna do this. Boom, and then fix them up. Look at that. Okay, it doesn't even go to the end. So what it does... I'm not even sure if I fully understand what it's doing. Okay. So it's like the minecart hitbox hits the detector rail. So it's like it's sitting right here. When it's on this block, it's hitting the detector rail. So when it goes here, it should go in. But instead of going in, the hitbox hits this detector rail and makes it go this way. So I'll see if you can see it. So see, it hits it and then it goes to the right. And then it's going to hit this. We might be able to see it pretty good if it's going this slow. It stops completely. Okay, so it's like it hits this detector rail, glitches out, and continues going. And so what I think the issue is, or actually not what I think, this is what I found the issue to be. Rail carts act differently if they're facing east to west than if they were to be facing south to north. So here, we get a minecart, it goes, and it turns to the left, it hits the detector rail, and does turn this railway, but it turns the railway after it passes it. So instead of hitting this detector rail, glitching out and continuing down, glitching out, continuing down, and never even going in these queues, it actually works how it's supposed to, where here, it glitches out at these parts and just keeps going. It never goes into these stations here. So, facing east to west does not work. And do you guys want to take a gander at which way my boat is facing? Yeah, so my boat here, this beautiful creation of mine, it is facing west, east and west. It is not facing north, and south. So what that means is that the detector rails on these curves act differently. When you power one of these corner rails, it acts weird. So I had to completely reconfigure this entire system. I eventually got it to work. So what happens is a minecart goes here, and then we push it. So it goes up, and then it comes around. It goes up, comes around, goes up, comes around, and then it keeps doing that. And then it does that all the way. Oh, that's not how it's supposed to be. That's a simple fix, though. So if there's a Trident zombie here, it powers this rail off. So that means the next minecart that comes in and stations here is off. And while it's sitting here... Oh, I think I pushed it. Sorry. So while it's sitting here, this powers off this powered rail. So then the next zombie will be stuck there. And then while this one's powered... So this will still be powered off. I can't power both of these. So imagine if there's a zombie here powering this railway off, so it's stuck there. And then when I get on this block, it powers this torch to turn this railway off, so forth and so on. I think I said that backwards. It's so on and so forth. But we can queue up to 6 Trident zombies here, which I think 6 Trident zombies is going to be enough because you have to go through so many drowned before you get a Trident zombie. So the way that this farm is going to work is this is going to hold all of our final Trident zombies, and we have to build the filter now. So there's 3 main parts to this build, and I'm only going off of a very little bit that I've seen from Etho. So Etho's lab, he has a Trident filter system, a Trident farm like this. So you have a collection system here. It's going to collect all the drowned. In between the collection system, you're going to have a railway, and it brings you to this filtration system. So this is going to filter out all the drowns that are coming in right here, filter them out right here, and then again we'll have that bubble elevator, so some sort of transporter that will put them in our holding station. So we have a collection, filter, holding station. And the holding station is where I'm going to kill the Trident zombies with my looting sword. And so I want the collection system to be probably out here. And I can set it up to where I can have multiple collection systems. I kind of don't want to mess with the coral here, and I don't want to get too close to this little bay because I'm thinking about making this a turtle bay and putting some turtle shells right here, and then having some fences in the water to where this is a safe spot for turtles, maybe even putting dolphins out here. Not too sure, but I think anywhere over here would be a good collection system. So I'm going to go ahead and actually build the collection system. Let me get my materials and I will get back with you guys. Okay, I'm back, guys, and I got most, if not all, of the resources I'll need for the collection system. And I do have my 1 turtle egg here. I think it just needs 1 for the time being. But I'm at a key point here, 220, 100. And you might be wondering, okay, what's relevant about that number? It's easy math. That's what's relevant. I have an interval of 10 at 220, and then I have 100, and I'm kind of near the center of my base. So what I'm doing, I'm calculating the distance that I want this drown farm to be at in the ocean. So if I'm at 220, 100, and mobs spawn up to 128 blocks away, then I can calculate how far my max distance can be for the spawner. Okay, so if I'm at 220, 100, and I come all the way out here to about, let's say 160. So I'm about 60 blocks out in the X direction, and that looks about where I want my collection system to be. I can do some math here. I can do the Pythagorean theorem. Technically, we're losing some of the y-axis as well because we're going down, and it's a circle radius that is the spawning radius. So I'm going to give myself some wiggle room. So if I'm 60 blocks out, and the radius from this point to the furthest point is 128, if I do Pythagorean theorem, I get that I can go 113 blocks in the z direction. And you can see I'm already at 119. So that means I can go all the way to 213 in the z direction. So if I come out here, about right here, because again, I'm not calculating the y direction, and so I actually might come in a little bit. I'm sure I could find the equation for the radius of a circle, and like calculate the three-dimensional line for this. But I think right here, so 60 blocks in the x direction and 60 blocks in the z direction. So this is going to be my point of collection right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy all this. Okay, so I hollowed this hole out, and we're going to have a little area here. Okay, so we're going to put our magma blocks right here. And that is fine. That it's the water's moving out. I think we're going to have to put some kelp here as well, because it's not quite doing the air bubbles down because I just destroyed these blocks. Let me see. I'll be back with some kelp. We just so happen to have a kelp forest right here, which works out perfectly. Okay, now that I got my kelp, I don't think I can place it directly. Yeah, I can't place it directly on these blocks, but I think kelp can grow, yeah, here. Okay, so we have all of the glass here, and so you can kind of get an idea of what we're going to be doing. So we're going to have this station that's going to be dropping any drown that walks over them into this pit. And we will have a minecart that is going in circles around this pit. So when a drown falls in, so the minecart will go around and pick any drowned up that happens to fall into this trap. Okay, so next step is to now put the egg that the drown are going to go after. So I'm going to put the glass block right here. I'm not going to put the egg down quite yet. So you actually need 2 blocks of air above the egg. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these trapdoors here. I'm out of air once again. Okay, now that the trapdoors are here, I'm going to remove the glass, or at least these top 2 pieces of glass. Or actually, I think it's 3. My bad. Because in the egg... Oh, air! Okay. I can put the turtle egg right here. And so we have 2 air blocks above the turtle egg, which is a requirement. And then... all of the zombies should fall down here. So I'll put the 2 glass blocks here. So this way when they fall in, they'll always be on the edge of these magma cubes. Okay, so whenever a zombie falls into here, this minecart's going to pick it up. And we're going to have a dispenser, maybe... we'll have a dispenser somewhere. Maybe on one of these powered rails. That will dispense a new minecart whenever we have a zombie come in, and then take this minecart. So this is going to take a little bit of engineering. Yeah, I'm going to work on this for a bit and show you guys the finished product. Guys, this has been a long and tedious project. So I'm back here, and you can see that I have this switch. So whenever a drowned is in the minecart, it activates this tripwire, and then it turns to the right. So this is working how it should in terms of its collecting, but it turns out that drown just don't want to spawn in this area. I don't know why, but I haven't got a single drown to come to this area. So you can see that there's an egg not here. I actually moved it, and I'll show you guys what I've ended up doing. But the concept of this works. Just for some reason the drown aren't spawning on the ocean floor right there. So what I did is I created a second collection system over here. And so this brings us to the river under my bridge. So right now we are under my bridge, and you can see that there's a squid that got into the minecart, which is not ideal. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, okay, there it goes. I can just put it. Oh, dang it. Okay, there we go. So this is a more polished system here. I usually play on low brightness. So if you ever watch B-dubs, he always does brightness 30, brightness 30, sorry. But I'm gonna go to high brightness just to show you guys this setup in here. So again, we have the same system. It's going around, and we have the tripwire. So when there's a zombie in here, it activates this tripwire, and the minecart will go down this path. So the drowned zombie that's in the minecart will activate this tripwire. This tripwire will then activate this redstone, which both powers this rail and dispenses a new minecart. So it dispenses a minecart here, powers this rail so the minecart goes down and completes the circle. So when a drown goes towards the filtration system, we'll also have another minecart dispensed. And let me fill this up. And so this is how many minecarts have been used. So this has been sitting here for a while, and it's collected 2 drowns. And you can see that this collected a squid. I'm not sure how to fix that. So we're back at the main railroad line here, and this is where it ties in. So the minecart will come from under the bridge where the squid was in the minecart. It'll come here, and then when it hits this angle rail, it hops onto it and then goes in this direction. So this brings us to our filtration system. So the minecart will come up here. It will go through this trapdoor, hit this glass block, and it will fall to here onto this unpowered rail. And so the zombie will sit here on this unpowered rail. When another zombie comes in, this detector rail will activate the minecart and will send it off by default to this kill chamber. So if we put a minecart here, let's say we activate this minecart, it default will go up this killing chamber. The cactus destroys the minecart, and then the minecart gets picked up right here. So we have 3 minecarts here. One is the minecart that I just showed you guys. The other 2, this is showing that 2 zombies have gone through the system, and both of them have defaulted to the kill chamber. I was hoping that only minecarts would come in here and the rotten flesh would come into here, but it looks like that might not be the case. And so if we have a minecart here, and then I need to put an axolotl right there, specifically Gary. That's going to be Gary's little throne, his little chamber. So when the drowned is sitting here, if it's not a trident drowned, it will sit here and do nothing until another drowned comes in, and it will move it on to the kill chamber. If this is a drowned that has a trident, it'll try to throw the trident at the axolotl in this chamber. These bubbles will push the trident up. It will hit the target block, which will then activate this switch. So what it does, if I can just manually show you guys, this piston will push the redstone block here, which then flip-flops the railroad right here to go down this path. And so once this minecart starts going down this path, it hits this detector rail, this piston will push the redstone back. So this makes sure that as soon as this minecart goes through, this defaults back to the kill chamber. So the next drowned zombie will go to the kill chamber instead of here. So if we take this minecart all the way to the end, it'll bring us into the boat here. And then you can see If we were drowned, we would be going into this collection system, or more of a holding station, and then it ends up here. So this brings us back to our queuing system that we built. So this can hold 6 drowned, and this is where it comes in from the filtration system. And so yeah, it's not super efficient. I don't know how long I was working and sitting up here to collect just 2 drowned zombies, but at least it gets some. So that's kind of the big thing, because it's not supposed to be crazy efficient. It's just supposed to be working all the time when I'm doing stuff around the base. And I don't know why. I don't know why they're not spawning here. I have no idea. I took all the sea pickles away, and so I got free cam. And I know some people think it's kind of cheaty, but I'm going to use it solely for like redstone and contraption purposes. I'm not going to use it for mining and trying to find diamond and kind of cheaty stuff like that. But specifically for lighting up caves, this was a huge help. I've lit up just about every single underwater cave I can find in my area. Like, it's insane how many sea pickles I laid out. Like, if there's an underwater cave, I've I've lit it up. I think I lit up the whole river too. I think I even went down here maybe. No, I did not go down here. I think this was far enough away to where I didn't need to worry about lighting it up. But yeah, I lit up this whole ocean around me, except for this spot in the ocean. But for some reason, the drowned still didn't want to spawn. And the only condition is that it has to be 6 blocks underwater. And this is 6 blocks underwater. So I don't know why. And I know that drowned spawn at higher frequencies in rivers. So I think my best bet is to just make a couple of these collection systems. Oh, Phantom. Okay. Thanks, guys. So I think my best bet is to make a couple of these collection systems inside the river. And so maybe making another one right here. This is a nice open area here. And then maybe another collection system here. So I'm thinking 3 collection systems, but they all go to the one filter that's under the boat here. So that way we can kind of optimize how much we're having to do. We only have 1 filter, but then we'll have 3 collectors, and then we have this one queuing system. And so I think that's the best way to go about it. And I might have to just manually refill all the minecarts when I sleep. But other than optimizing this whole Trident farm system, what I've been doing is I've updated this pathway finally. So with the coarse dirt, the mud, a little bit of pack mud. I think this might have actually been here. But I want it to be very organic. So I didn't want to go over the top with like any type of stone. I didn't want it to be a stone walkway. I just want it to feel like an old farm walkway that's been run down. You have some overgrown grass, but you have some patches of places where the dirt's been really compacted in. And so you just have this rooted dirt, you have this coarse dirt, you have a little bit of overgrown grass in the path, you have some dead brush as well. So very organic. I didn't want it to feel too cluttered. I think I like the proportions of everything, and I did a little bit of transition into the red sand. It's kind of weird. The dirt and the mud into red sand looks odd, but it looked even more odd if I didn't have a transition. So I'm just going to keep this. But I really like how this turned out. It makes this place feel so much more lively than having just the cobblestone path. And I finally filled up these last farms. So I put another villager here and another villager here. And so hopefully these guys will last me a while. But now my farm is completely full. The path is done. So this whole area is done. I am hatching some turtles right there. So that is under construction. Once the eggs are hatched, I'll move this because I just don't want the drowns, even though I've lit everything up, I don't want the drowns to come and stomp my turtle eggs. But I think the last thing that I want to do for this episode is put my axolotl in his new lovely home. So let's see here if I can put this here. Boom, boom. Oh no, okay. Come on, Gary. Let's see. There we go. So yeah, Gary's going to sit here, and as the tridents are thrown at him, they'll hit the target block, which will activate the flip-flop, and they'll go into the ship. Oh, it looks like we got another zombie come through. Awesome. Okay, so it is slowly but surely working. So we've got 3 zombies come into the system, which is great because I spent like maybe 8 hours total of just AFKing with the original collection system that's in the ocean and not in the river, and I didn't get anything. And so this has been running for a few hours, and I've got 3, so it might be 1 every hour or 1 every hour and a half, because they only chase after the turtle eggs if it's nighttime. So every 15 minutes you have a 15-minute interval to collect the drown, because they won't go after, as far as I'm aware, they're not aggressive except at nighttime. So I think 1 drowned every hour isn't terrible, and then as we build more collection systems, that should increase. But this is just supposed to passively work, and I don't need tridents that badly. This is kind of just something fun to build. It was fun building these flip-flops and figuring out how to actually get this to work. And this whole filtration system, this is all from Etho. And so I'll link in my description the episode that Etho shows this in his Hermitcraft video. The queuing system is heavily based off of a queuing system that he has in that Hermitcraft season 10. But it's my own little twist. I have updated that. But this is like an exact copy of what he did, because I never would have thought to do bubble columns with an axolotl and have a target block. This is all him here. But the collection system that didn't work and is working fairly inefficiently, that's my own design. I'm sure other people have done it, so I don't want to say it's original, but that was me just putting stuff together myself, which is probably why I'm only getting 1 every hour. But I think that's going to end it from me, guys. I will decorate this room to make it feel more like a prison. So at the bottom of the boat, it's like we have all of the prisoners that we've taken, and I'll make it more dark and gloomy. But for now, I think I just want to see if it works. So I'm probably going to AFK. Maybe at the start of next episode, I'll be able to show you guys at least 1 trident drown that I've collected. But as of now, that is going to be it for me. But before I go, I wanted to show you guys one more thing. I just remembered it, so sorry about the delayed ending of this episode. But I went to go collect some more turtle eggs, and I was coming back to my base, and look how nice that is. When the ship and the watchtower and the palm trees start coming into view and the fog goes away, that is a beautiful sight to see, especially after being hundreds of miles, if not 1,000 blocks, not miles, 1,000 blocks away, and then coming back to your base and seeing your ship right here with your watchtower, jungle in the background, palm trees just luscious and green. It's just a nice sight to see. But I wanted to end it on that one little view. Whenever I came back, I was like, that looks good. We are getting a lot of progress done on this world, and I wanted to show you guys. But I will catch y'all on the next episode. So thank you for watching.